What is up, guys? We're gonna play at Resorts World Catskills today. They have a $225 weekly tournament, and we're gonna run it up and see how we do. I'm feeling very good about my game. I've been studying a lot. The field there is extremely soft, so I definitely think I have somewhat of an edge there. So let's go ahead and make a deep run. They usually get about 120 players, give or take. $10,000 guaranteed. Last week it was $23,000, so they crushed the guarantee of 10. So hopefully we get a big field tonight, and hopefully we ship the whole thing. Let's go.
Alright, so jumping right into it, we look down at Ace King of Diamonds. We're now at level 2. We started with 25k, we were down to 24k. Blinds passed through us a couple times. Anyways, we have Ace King of Diamonds in the small blind. There is a couple limps to us, and we go ahead and make it 1600. I like the sizing. It is a little bit on the big side, which is perfectly fine when being out of positions. So the first limper does look me up and makes the call, and we see a very nice flop of King 4-5 with 2 hearts out there. We have this board locked up pretty good. I mean, there is a flush draw, but I go ahead and check it. Now, from what I've seen, this guy's been actually very aggressive when checked to, so that definitely played part into this as well. He cuts out some chips and ends up throwing out 1600. Okay, I'm going to definitely continue for that price. And we see a very safe turn of the 2 of spades. So there's 2 flush draws out there now. I check pretty quickly. I want to keep all of his bluffs in here. There's no point in leading out. He bets 3200, and this is great. I put him on air, honestly. I mean, he could have a flush draw, but is what it is. Jack River, very safe. I checked him once again, and he bets out pretty big here. He bets out 10k, and I've underrep my hand completely here. I snap call, and he shows the King Jack offsuit. What a dirty river. I show him that he had the winner, and I frustratingly throw 10k out there that he has been rewarded now. That one definitely hurt to lose. A 33,000 chip pot there. And now with a little bit of tilt running through my veins, I'm on the button. Very next hand with pocket sevens, there's a raise and a call, and I just throw it in there. Definitely a little bit of an overbet. This is a lot of big blinds to just be shoving in there, but like I said, I was definitely a little bit tilted after that hand, and it's not the worst shove in the world, right? Well, the second caller, the one on the cutoff, shows ace, queen, and calls. So it is a fair fight, and we see an ace in the window. With 2 clubs too. But there's a 7 on the turn. What a turn. Brick River with the 10. And we get a clean double up. Holy crap. We had to avoid so much. We had 2 outs. Absolutely insane. We get a clean double up. We are back to 16k in our stack now. Pretty awesome. With a now reasonable stack, we are on the button and we look down at ace, deuce, offsuit. Since that last hand, the level has gone up. We've been fairly card dead. It's been a couple orbits since we played a hand. And the same limper who had the King Jack earlier limps. And we go ahead and put on the squeeze here. I have an ace blocker. I don't hate this play, but it's not something I should be getting used to doing too often. Because he has shown, because he limped with King Jack offsuit earlier, a hand that he should be raising with a lot of the time. So his range isn't as weak as it really should be when there's passive limpers at the table like this. But anyways, he makes the call, and the flop is King, Queen, Jack. So this is very good for my range here. I go ahead and continuation bet for 1,000. He calls very quickly, which is actually pretty weak. If he had something strong, he would think about it for a second, in my opinion. 6th turn, I'm going to just keep barreling this. I feel like he is very weak right here. I have an emergency gut shot just in case. He just lets go of his cards. He seemed like he hated his hand anyway. So I was just going with my read there as well. And we take down actually a very nice pot there. Same level. A couple hands later, we look down at ace king offsuit from the under the gun +1 position. We open it to 1100, just under 3x. I think this is a very good sizing for earlier in the tournament. We are still all pretty deep, so I don't need to do the 2x raise sizing yet. We get 2 callers, and the flop is queen 3-4. So we just missed this completely. This is a multi-way pot. The queen is good for my range, so I go ahead and bet 1500. I don't love doing this all the time. I do have the ace of spades, which is really nice here, but we do end up getting a call, and the caller is no other than our same buddy who's been playing with us all night. He makes the call, and we see a pretty brick turn of the 9 of clubs. So he now checks to me, and I should be checking back a lot of the time here, but for some reason, I just wanted to unload the clip on this guy again. I felt like he was weak, even though he has shown that he's able to limp with these face cards before. I also have the ace of spades in my hand, which is terrible. That takes away almost all of his flush draws that he could possibly have. He could have some random ones, but when I have the ace in my hand, that takes away about half of the flush draws he should have. Absolute brick of a river, and I just unload the clip for some godforsaken reason, and he snap calls me with queen 6 offsuit and wins the hand. I mean, I just have to stop barreling against these weak players because they will call down with any kind of showdown value, and it's just brutal. This goes for all games at 1-2, 1-3 level, even some 2-5. Bluffing into these weak players is never the answer. Make hands, value bet them, and win. Anyways, we look down at 5-6 offsuit on the big blind. There are a total of 5 limps to us. We check our option, and we see a pretty awesome flop here of 5-6-7. Rainbow flop. This is absolutely awesome. I check because I hate donking out into players. It's just something that I never do. I should be having some sort of leading range, but I'll figure that out one day. Anyways, one of the players across from me ends up betting out, and this is just going in. Plain and simple. Folds around to me, and I stack up my chips and throw them in there. I throw about 6,500 in there, or whatever the hell I have, and he thinks about it for a second. He realizes that it's not too much, and he makes the call. So heads up now, action is finished. I show my 2 pair, and he shows 7-8. Oh, we have a lot to avoid here. It is almost a flip. I am probably a slight favorite, and 9 of diamonds right away, and we lose. All my money is gone. But it's alright because we get a rebuy immediately. We are in for 450 now. This is our second bullet in this tournament. We start with around 25k. So 25 big blinds here. Levels have gone up. We have been card dead since we have sat back down. Blinds are at 500, 1000. We look down at ace, king, offsuit. Awesome hand. We are under the gun +2. And we raise it to 2200. The player in the hijack position now makes it 5,000. And this is just an easy 4-bet, rip it all in here. I have ace-king offsuit. I am never folding this. It is just a simple all-in. Calling just makes the SPR get really low, and we don't want that. So I'm going to go for max fold equity, and we are going to shove the ace-king. As soon as I do it, he snaps me off, and he shows me the queen. So it is a fair fight here. We have a total of 6 outs to hit. And luckily, 2 of those outs hit the flop. King 6. Wow, what a relief that is. That feels so good. We are definitely doubling up here, and we win a pretty nice pot. We are up to 50 big blinds now. We have a lot of chips to work with here. As the levels go up, so do the blinds. We are down around 60 players out of the 130 that have entered, and we are sitting in fine shape. We have a full doubled up starting stack, and we look down at ace, jack of diamonds from the cutoff position, and there is 1 limp to us from the hijack, and we raise it up to 3,500. We've been pretty card dead once again, so we are down to 42k with 600, 1,200 blinds. It folds all the way around to the first limper, and he rips it in. What the hell? This is usually really strong, but I've seen him do this a couple of times with like pocket sixes, pocket fives, pocket nines, pocket eights, ace 10, ace 9. So that's really what I put him on here. He would be raising with anything better than what I just said. So I put him on that range of hands, and I go ahead and make the call. And he shows ace jack. So we're free rolling here with the diamonds, and they don't come, and we chop up the pot. Same level, a couple hands later, we look down at king queen offsuit from the button, and there is a raise from the low jack position to 3,500. So this is actually a really weird spot here. I could be raising this sometimes, but this time I just elect to put in the call. I'm definitely never folding here. King queen off is just too good of a hand, especially against this player. He's definitely been splashing around a little bit, so I throw in the call, and this entices the big blind to make the call as well. We now see a flop that we completely miss. In the pre-flop, aggressor now leads out again for 6,500, and honestly, I'm just done here. I do have a backdoor flush draw with a gut shot, but this is just not worth seeing a turn for that price. So I just fold, and we lose a chunky pot there.
We're on break. Unfortunately, I'm on my second bullet for the second week in a row. I'm 2 bullets in. It's not really running good. I haven't really got any good cards. That triple barrel bluff with ace king earlier, I hate it. I don't know what made me want to do that, but it's just really bothering me right now that I just punt it off like that. And getting in with the 5-6, I mean, it's a coin flip at that point. I mean, that guy has so many outs, the board could pair. He's open-ended, he could hit another 7, so this is what it is. I have an average stack going to level 11. There's around 70 people, yeah, 70 people left out of 140, so yeah, there's no more late entries, so people should start dropping pretty quick. And let's run it up. We got 37K. Blinds are going to be around 2,000 now, so we're going to be at like 15 big blinds, give or take, so let's see what we can do.
Okay, blinds at 1K, 2K. We look down at a suited connector of 8, 9 of diamonds. We are in the small blind facing 2 limps, and we go ahead and complete toss in the limp. The big blind has been very passive, so I know we're going to see a flop a lot of the time here. And we flop open-ended, which is actually really nice here. We check, and this has been a player who loves to take stabs at pots multi-way. He takes a stab for 4K, which this guy loves doing. He's done it a million times all night, and I've had enough of it. I go ahead and just shove all in. I have 9 high, even though I am open-ended. I put him on nothing. He was the last person to act on the flop, so I feel really good about doing this as a big bluff. He thinks about it for a second, and he folds. So this was honestly a little bit of an overbet on my part, but I'm going for max fold equity, and that's what I got. A couple hands later, we look down at the ace jack of hearts on the button. Blinds are getting high. We have a raise from the cutoff. I jam, and he folds. So that's a very nice pickup right there. We now look down at ace jack once again. Blinds are 1,500, 3,000. With a 52K stack, we do not have a ton of blinds here. We're seated on the small blind, and there is a open to 7K from this player who had a huge stack, and he is tilting very heavily, and he has punted almost all of his chips off. So with this configuration right now, I'm going to go ahead and just make the shove. I have about 17 big blinds, so this is honestly pretty standard either way. He snap calls, I show the ace jack, and he shows pocket sixes. So this is a huge pot, and we flop an ace, turn jack, and we hold. This is a fantastic double up here. This is so huge for my stack. We have a ton of blinds to work with now. We're going to have almost 40 big blinds, and we only have about 45 players left in this tournament. Let's make a run. We now look down at the beautiful ace king offsuit. This is awesome. We have 110K in our stack, and there's an early position raise to 10,000. Now this is honestly really huge for how deep we are. None of us are really too deep. This is the chip leader at the table who did raise to this big. So I have ace king off. I am not flatting this. I am obviously not folding, so that leaves only one other option. I stack up my chips and I push them in the middle. He doesn't take too long and he snap calls, but it's ace king versus ace king. Nothing special happens. We end up chopping the pot. Big whoop-de-doo. Whole lot of nothing. We've now been card dead for quite the while here, and we look down at pocket nines in the cutoff position. Blinds are at 2K, 4K, and we have roughly 22 big blinds. It folds to me, and I make the raise for 10,000 chips. The big blind makes the call, and we see honestly a pretty safe flop, all low cards, so I'm just willing to go with this, and I make a continuation bet of 10K, and he folds, and we win a pretty nice pot there, honestly. With a decent stack of 25 big blinds now, we look down at king jack offsuit from the low jack position, and we raise it to 10K. Now, this is very weird what happens here. The player in the button position, who's the chip leader at the table, he's been clicking a lot of buttons, but he definitely knows what he's doing, so he min raises me, and this is such a disgusting spot. He could easily have me dominated, but for this price, I think I have to call. I mean, I'm getting the right price. The pot odds are right, and it's just any two cards here I have to call. If it was later in the tournament and there's a lot of like in the money pressure, a lot of ICM pressure, then I would be folding this a lot more. But with the price I'm getting, I just have to see a flop here. So I go ahead and make the call, and we just see a flop that I completely miss, and I have to fold to his continuation bet. So that sucks. We definitely lose a big chunk of our stack there, but what am I going to do in that spot? A min raise there is just absolutely sick, honestly, and yeah, is what it is. After being card dead for quite a while now, we look down at 6-9 of diamonds from the big blind position. The blinds are 2.5K and 5K. There are roughly 25 players left in this tournament. Top 10 get paid. We're close to the final table bubble here. Same player who we just played in the last hand with makes a min raise from early position, and we call with 6-9 of diamonds. We flop the absolute world here. We have a gut shot with a flush draw, so I'm willing to die on this hill with this hand here. We do not have a ton of big blinds left, so he makes his continuation bet, and I go ahead and just jam this all in. He is tanking for the longest now, and actually ends up calling me with king 7. He said, I put you on a flush draw, and he calls. So we need some help from this turn in river. We are technically behind, but there's so many cards left in the deck that can make us the winner, so it's a flip. Let's go. One-time dealer. A double up here would be huge. It would almost guarantee me a spot at the final table and to be in the money. Turn is a jack, and the river is a brick. We are out of the tournament. This is so unfortunate. So close to the money. So close to the final table. First place ended up being $7,000.
A very small favorite, but it was most likely a flip. I don't hate my shove there. I think it was awesome. He's supposed to fold that hand when I shove like that, but yeah, it is what it is. He said he put me on a flush draw, and that's what I had. I guess he knew I wouldn't be doing that with my top pair holdings, which, to be fair, I really wouldn't. I probably should, but in for 450, and now we're out. We're gonna play some cash, maybe some 2-5, 1-3. There's open seats, so you're probably gonna see that right after this.